They said the tomb was cursed, yet no one believed it, until the first explorer vanished mysteriously. The year was 1922. The world held its breath as Howard Carter's team stood at the threshold of a forgotten world. The tomb of the boy king, Tutankhamun. The seal was broken, revealing treasures beyond imagination, but with the gold and jewels, they also unleashed something else, something ancient and malevolent, Lord Carnarvon. The expedition's wealthy financier was the first to fall. It started with a simple mosquito bite on his cheek. Weeks later, while shaving, he nicked the bite, which became severely infected. A high fever set in, followed by pneumonia, on April 5, 1923, as the clock struck 2 a.m. in Cairo. All the lights in the city inexplicably went out at that very moment. Lord Carnarvon died back in England, his favorite dog, Susie. Let out a mournful howl and dropped dead. Coincidence? Perhaps, but the whispers of the pharaoh's curse had already begun. The press, hungry for a sensational story, latched onto the idea. They reported on a supposed inscription found in the tomb, which read, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king." While historians debate whether this inscription ever truly existed, the string of strange deaths that followed was undeniable. George J. Gould, a wealthy American financier and friend of Carnarvon, visited the tomb shortly after its opening. He was a man of science, dismissive of superstition, but soon after his visit, he developed a sudden high fever. Within hours, he was dead. The official cause was listed as the bubonic plague, but the timing was chillingly precise. Then there was the Egyptian prince, Ali Kamal Bey. He'd have visited the tomb, fascinated by its discovery. Just a few months later, in London, he was shot and killed by his own wife in a fit of rage. A tragic domestic dispute or something more sinister at play, the curse, it seemed, did not discriminate. The tales grew more bizarre. Radiologist Sir Archibald Douglas Reid, who x-rayed Tutankhamun's mummy before it was shipped to London, complained of a mysterious fatigue. He returned to England, only to die a few days later from an undiagnosed illness. Richard Bethel, Howard Carter's personal secretary, was found dead in his bed in a London gentleman's club. The cause was ruled a heart attack, yet he was only 45 and in perfect health. The news was a devastating blow to his father, Lord Westbury, overcome with grief. Westbury threw himself from the 7th floor window of his apartment. In his room, a precious artifact from Tutankhamun's tomb, a paperweight made from a mummified hand, sat on his desk. The stories became a torrent. A member of the excavation team, Aaron Ember, an American Egyptologist, was hosting a dinner party. His house mysteriously caught fire. He could have easily escaped, but he ran back into the flames, trying to save the manuscript of his latest book. A book titled The Egyptian Book of the Dead. He and his entire family perished in the fire. The tomb itself seemed to be the epicenter of these strange occurrences. Visitors reported hearing whispers echoing from the stone corridors. Others felt an unnerving coldness, a presence that watched them from the shadows. One of the most terrifying accounts came from Carter's own canary. The story goes that on the day the tomb was opened, the canary was eaten by a cobra, the very symbol of the pharaohs, a creature known to protect the king. It was seen as a dire omen, a warning from the ancient guardians. Skeptics and scientists scrambled for rational explanations. They proposed that the tomb, sealed for over 3,000 years, might have contained dormant, toxic molds or fungi. When the seal was broken, these airborne spores could have been released, infecting those who were most exposed. Some pointed to the possibility of poisonous gases like radon trapped within the chambers. Others suggested that deaths were simply a string of unconnected tragedies, amplified by media hysteria and the power of suggestion. After all, many of the individuals were older, and the work was strenuous, taking place in a harsh, unsanitary environment. Yet, these logical explanations couldn't account for everything. How could a mold cause a citywide blackout? How could a fungus make a dog drop dead hundreds of miles away? And what about the most glaring exception to the curse? Howard Carter himself, the man who first breached the tomb, who spent a decade cataloging its contents, lived for another 17 years, dying of natural causes at the age of 64. Why was he spared? Did he possess some secret knowledge, or was he simply lucky? Perhaps the curse wasn't a tangible force, but a psychological one. The immense pressure, the global attention, the weight of disturbing a sacred final resting place, it could take a toll on anyone. The human mind, when convinced of a curse, can become its own worst enemy. Today, the treasures of Tutankhamun are admired by millions in museums around the world. The tomb in the Valley of the Kings is a silent monument. But the mystery lingers in the dry desert air. Was it a pharaoh's wrath, a scientific anomaly, or just a series of tragic coincidences? The golden mask stares back with empty eyes, guarding its secrets for eternity. They disturb the peace of the king, and whether by magic or by chance, death did indeed come on swift wings. Thanks for watching. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of the past, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have many more stories to unearth.